Please remember to like this video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share this video. Also, in the description of this video, you can find my compiled link. Through there, you can find my YouTube channel, Patreon, email, Your Playmat affiliate link, TCG Player affiliate link, Discord, Twitter, TikTok, and Non-Magic the Gathering YouTube channel, the CJ. Thank you for watching. How's it going, everybody? CJ here, back with another video. We're doing a first thought today. This first thought is on Hinata Dawn Crown. Not my favorite Hinata, but this commander seems really cool. I'm probably going to end up building this deck because it's sweet. And yeah, this card's going to be kind of like a Spellslinger style deck, but there's a lot of spells that I'm going to recommend for this that you typically wouldn't run in a Spellslinger style deck. They're bigger, flashier, and because they have multiple targets, because that cost reduction is crazy. Also, Hinata just gives your creatures ward 1, gives all creatures ward 1 basically from your opponents. You can target everything fine and actually cheaper, like even your opponent's stuff cheaper, but your opponents, whenever they target anything, it costs 1 more. That's amazing. So it's like a Stax card while also being like kind of like a combo-y cost reduction card. It's super cool, and I'm very excited about it. The categories we're going to talk about today are a little combo I want to mention. Then we have cards that have multiple targets because those have very big cost reductions and just become extremely powerful. And then we have cards that trigger by casting instants and sorceries because value. You can be casting a lot of those, so why not? Cards that you can use to copy your instants and sorceries. Just a couple of sweet cards that sound really good in this deck because of the cost reduction, and a bunch of one-off cards. So we're going to hop into this. The combo I want to talk about today. Let's just say you got Hinata in play. Pretty easy, right? You got an island in play. Not too hard. And you got Archaeomancer in play. Sure. And you got a Ghostly Flicker in hand. You cast Ghostly Flicker for 1 mana because it targets your island and your Archaeomancer, making it cost 2 less to cast. Whoa. You flicker the Archaeomancer in the island. Island enters untapped. Archaeomancer enters and goes and gets Ghostly Flicker back to your hand. You can just do this over and over and over again for infinite cast triggers, infinite ATBs. Let's say instead of an island, you're using a Gilded Lotus. Now you've got double or infinite mana, and you can just go nuts and do whatever you want. Once you have infinite mana, you can start using Ghostly Flicker on everything else, like Archaeomancer and something else, over and over and over again, and then getting a lot of other triggers. Like it, you can win the game very easily from here. So it's a pretty cool little combo. You can also use Ardent Elementalist instead of just Archaeomancer for some extra pieces, like to make it more likely to hit, to make it more likely that you actually get the combo off. And all these cards seem good in the deck anyways, so why not? Next up, we're going to talk about the multi-targeting cards. I got a lot of cards to talk about here. Got a whole section, whole other paper about them. So, the subcategories for multi-targeting I'm going to be talking about are removal, counter spells, token generators, cards to blink, and cards to steal people's stuff, and just good cards. So, the removal stuff. I want to just mention Cursed Swine, okay? So, a lot of cards that I'm going to be talking about here are similar to Cursed Swine, where it's like 2 and X, and it's exile X target creatures, or deal 10 damage to X number of creatures, or whatever. Because every time you target something, it reduces the cost by 1. If you target 10 of your opponent's creatures, this will cost 10 less to cast, so it'll still be 2 mana. All of these types of cards just become like 2 mana, whatever the colored mana cost is. That's insane. Extremely, extremely powerful. So, all the cards in here, all the removal cards I want to talk about are Aether Gale, Aurelia's Fury, Baral's Expertise, also letting you cast something for free, Comet Storm, Crackle with Power, Crush Contraband, Dismantling Wave, Distorting Wake, Gired's Belligerence, Heliod's Intervention, Jaya's Immolating Inferno, Meteor Blast, Release the Gremlins, Return to Dust, and Soulfire Eruption. Soulfire Eruption seems really, really good in this, especially because of the fact that you kind of get extra card draw for a much lower price than you would have otherwise. Like, you can actually cast the cards off of that, but oftentimes you won't be able to because you won't have the mana. Because I believe Soulfire Eruption doesn't let you cast them for free. Yeah, it does not let you cast them for free. So this way you can actually get a good benefit off of that. Next up, I'm going to talk about counter spells that get a lot better. There's a lot of counter spells that do other things as well, like Mystic Confluence. So you can bounce 2 things and counter, and it costs 3 less to cast because you're targeting a spell and you're targeting 2 permanents to bounce. Seems good. Same thing with Lost in the Mist, Ojutai's Command, and Sublime Epiphany. All of these seem extremely powerful with Hinata in play. Next, I'm going to talk about some token generators. Just a couple cards here. You got Call the Coppercoats, Launch the Fleet. Strive works really well with this. And Saheeli's Artistry. If you want to go heavy on ETBs, then you can use a lot of these blink cards that work really well, like Disorder in the Court, Displace, I already mentioned Ghostly Flicker, Illusionist Stratagem, Semester's End, and Settle Beyond Reality. Seems pretty good. Those cards seem pretty powerful. Next, we got ways to steal your opponent's stuff. Blatant Thievery, make it cost 1 less to cast for each opponent you have. That seems fantastic. Mass Manipulation, disgusting. Sakashima's Will seems very good as well. And then just some good cards to throw into the deck because they just synergize really well with Hinata. Collective Defiance, Decoy Gambit, it can become 1 mana draw 3. That seems pretty good, right? It is, I believe it's 1 mana. Let me double check. It's normally 3. And it would be, yeah, it could be 1 mana draw 3 easily. That's crazy. Then you have Domineering Will, Expansion Explosion, Finale of Promise, Hate Mirage seems pretty cool. Hour of Eternity, if you got a big graveyard, that's like a maybe card because you got to be kind of creature heavy for that one. Hour of Need, Icy Blast, Karn's Temporal Sundering, extra turn spell, seems good. Magma Opus, you can cast that for 2 mana, that's insane. March of Swirling Mists, I don't remember which one that is, and so I'm just going to look it up really quickly. Oh, this is the reason I don't remember is because from the new set. This card seems pretty fantastic. You can just either save your board or stop your opponent from being able to use their creatures to like kill you or something. Seems good for 1 mana. Then you got cards like Reconstruct History. Just fill your hand for 2 mana. Savage Alliance, Sudden Substitution, Wrong Turn, Smoke Spirits, Aid, and Reality Spasm. Those cards all seem very cool and very powerful in this deck because of this cost reduction. The cost reduction makes them so much stronger. Next up, we're going to talk about cast triggers, cards that trigger by you casting instants and sorceries. You've got Archmage Emeritus and Whirlwind of Thought to draw cards, Stormkiln Artist to ramp you, Kaikar makes tokens, same thing with Talrand and Monastery Mentor, Burgi can give you back some mana, and Metallurgic Summonings to make some more tokens. And some ways to copy your spells just so you can get extra spells, because that seems great. Like, why not have 2 Magma Opuses? Good stuff. Dual Caster Mage, Double Vision, Bonus Round, and Double Cast all seem great. There's a lot of other cards there too, but those are just the ones I wanted to mention. Then some cards that just seem like pretty good because of the cost reduction. Arcane Denial and other counter spells that are like 2 mana, 1 being colorless. Those seem fantastic in this deck because they become 1 mana counters. That's really, really good. Heat Shimmer. Really cool card here. Just being able to create a token as a copy of something for 2 mana. I like that. And Secret Rendezvous seems pretty cool because it becomes, is it 2 mana draw 3? Or is it 1 mana draw 3? You don't target yourself, I don't think. So I'm going to say, yeah, you and target opponent. So it's 2 mana draw 3 for you and somebody else. So you get an alliance and you get 3 cards. That seems good. Like that card is fringe playable before this, but in this deck, I think it's playable. And lastly, we're going to talk about the one-off cards. We have Battlefield Thaumaturge. I think it's how it's pronounced. This card seems great. It reduces your cost. and for things that target it, so that seems good. And it gets hexproof. Hexproof is fine. The big thing is the reducing cost, because that seems very, very powerful. Then you have cards like Neheb the Eternal and Soulfire Grandmaster, or Radiant Scroll Weaver, or Firesong and Sunspeaker. If you go really heavy on the spells that deal damage to creatures based on however much mana you put into them, like Comet Storm. Because Neheb can make you a ton of mana, and the other ones can gain you a lot of life. That seems great. Feather, Orvar, Zada, and Mavinda all seem fantastic. They're all very good in decks where you target your own stuff, and it just seems extremely powerful. This is like the perfect commander to house all of them, because Feather decks and Orvar decks are always have a lot of similar cards, or I mean not really similar cards, but there's a lot of cards that would overlap if they were in the correct colors. Like it would be great to have them as partner commanders. This is probably the best way to do that. It's a fantastic commander to house all these cards. Next up, we got Dance of the Manse, which seems pretty cool if you're in a very specific deck. If you got a lot of artifacts in your deck or a lot of enchantments, this seems like I think it works with enchantments, but artifacts in your deck, this seems like a really cool card. Willbreaker seems very powerful. You can just target your opponent's things and steal them all. Good stuff. Some cost reduction seems great, just to make it even better. You have cards like Goblin Electromancer, Baral, Grand Arbiter, and Primal Amulet. Good stuff. Primal Amulet's really cool, especially if it flips and you can cast spells twice. I like that. Elsha the Infinite. It's a good commander here, or a good card to throw into the 99 here, just to be able to let you cast stuff off the top of your library. Then you have cards with Heroic, like Triton Fortune Hunter, a Crone Crusader, and Sage of Hours. All of those seem very good because you're going to be targeting your stuff anyway, so why not get some extra triggers out of it? And then lastly, this could end up storming out pretty easily because there's a lot of ways to draw cards and there's a lot of spells that you're going to be able to cast for a lot cheaper. So some storm finishers might be needed. Cards like Aetherflux Reservoir or 1,000 Year Storm could be extremely powerful in this deck, and I like the idea of including them. And that is everything I have for Hinata the Dawn Crowned. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Peace out, everybody.